Good morning, everybody. Thanks to ICADA for inviting me in this conference. I'm Sybille Millet, Regulatory Affairs Manager at COSMED, and I will talk to you about the Chemical Sustainability Project by the EU Commission and its impact on cosmetic products. First of all, as you might not be familiar with COSMED, I will introduce our association. Then I will talk about the European Chemical Strategy for Sustainability. This is a short presentation of 20 minutes, so I will focus on the impact on cosmetic regulation. I will give you an update of the timeline and the latest developments, and I will then focus even more on the impact for natural products. So COSMED is a cosmetic association for SMEs, the French Cosmetic Association. We have more than 120 members, mainly in France, but in all Europe. We do, of course, national lobbying for our members, but we do also European and international lobbying. We are also a representative of SMA United at the European Commission Cosmetics Working Group, and we have good relation with foreign countries authorities and foreign countries association. We have a new department for ecological transition, so we offer personalized offer to help our members to manage their ecological transition. One of our first mission is to provide a worldwide regulatory monitoring. We follow more than 120 countries. We explain the regulation in each country, helping our members exporting their products. We have a lot of updated fact sheet with the regulated substances in Europe and in all countries. We answer to every regulatory question within 48 hours, and we organize a lot of webinars about current topic during the year. And just sharing you key figures for France for 2020, just to show that we are the first French cosmetic SMEs network. So I cannot talk about the European Chemical Strategy without introducing the European Green Deal. The European Green Deal was published on December 2019. This is a horizontal Green Deal with four main pillars about climate neutrality, biodiversity protection, circular economy, and the zero pollution ambition for a toxic-free environment. The European Chemical Strategy is part of the zero pollution ambition, and this is the first delivery of this ambition. It was published on October 2020, and it giving the orientation of the regulatory development over the next years. It's all giving all the regulatory developments coming. It has two main ambitions. First, to better protect citizens and the environment, and to boost innovation for safe and sustainable chemicals. This is in very short timeline, because the action plan is defining measures between 2021 and 2024. So very short deadline, and this is one of the most ambitious strategy ever published. It may be compared with the publication of WEEE regulation 3 years ago, because it's giving a lot of changes in a very short time. I will just, about the first key ambition, this is to boost innovation for safe and sustainable chemicals by giving the safe and sustainable by design concept. I won't go over this, this first ambition because I won't have time. This is a short presentation, but just to explain this, the actions are ongoing for this ambition. First, consultation has already been launched to define safe and sustainable by design criteria for chemicals and materials. Then KPI will be established to measure the industrial transition towards the production of safe and sustainable chemicals. And then an ambition is also to promote cooperation and sharing of information to develop safer alternatives, to work on the R&D, because we cannot ban the most harmful substances without having safer alternatives. And for that, we The ambition, the strategy has highlighted the fact that financial support is needed for SMEs, and it will be provided by the European Commission. I will more focus on the second ambition, the second key point of the strategy, to better protect citizens and the environment. Just to highlight, just to quote the original text of this of the chemical strategy, it is indicated the ambition to minimize the presence of substances of concern in products, and to develop methodologies for chemical risk assessment that take into account the whole life cycle of substances, materials, and products. This summarizes all the ambition of the chemical strategy. To sum up, the ambition is to harmonize and review the regulatory management of chemicals in all Europe, and this for all sectors. It has introduced the concept of one substance, one assessment. This is the main concept of this chemical strategy. And the ambition is to ensure that all chemicals are used more safely and sustainably. A big point is the ambition to ban the most harmful substances unless proven essential for society. And for us, of course, the definition of most harmful substances and the concept of essential will be decisive and will be very relevant for the future actions. To focus on the impact on cosmetic products, the ambition of the chemical strategy is to change cosmetic regulation, REACH regulation. It will amend REACH regulation. By the definition of harmful substances, the substances initially on the scope are the CMR, endocrine disruptors, the persistent bioaccumulative and toxic substances, the PBT, and the VPVB, very persistent, very bioaccumulative substances. They are already in the definition of SVHC for now, but this will be extended, and then we will have substances immunotoxicants, neurotoxicants, substances toxic for specific organs, the STOT, and the respiratory sensitizers. For cosmetic regulation, this will have a huge impact also, because for now we have an omnibus regulatory process to ban the CMR substances once they have been officially classified, unless an exemption has been granted, and this omnibus regulatory process would be extended to all the harmful substances, so also for the endocrine disruptors, but also for the PBT and VPVB substances. This has an importance because for now, cosmetic regulation focus on the safety of cosmetic products, the safety for the consumer, but tomorrow the cosmetic regulation will have to take into account all the environmental effects of substances also. This will be included in the cosmetic regulation, and substances harmful for the environment will be also prohibited by the cosmetic regulation. The ambition of the chemical strategy is also to reform all the restriction process under REACH regulation. So the restriction process and the authorization process under REACH will be reformed and will be merged maybe with only one process. And the ambition is also to accelerate this process. So once the substance has been assessed by being, for example, harmful, and the prohibition in all the consumer products will happen more quickly. Other actions under REACH regulations are also the revision of the registration requirements. So more data will be needed for the registration dossier, more tests will be needed to well identify the dangerous substance, the endocrine disruptors, for example, and the dangerous substance for the environment. The safe use will have to be more documented. And another ambition of ECHA is also to evaluate all registration dossiers for all substances. So this is a huge work. But in case of non-compliance, the ambition is also to revocate the registration numbers. So to be used in cosmetics products, the substances need to be registered. So this may have an impact for the use of the substances in cosmetics. And the last change expected on REACH regulation is the simplification of the communication in the supply chain. So we will have an improvement of safety data sheets. The CLP regulation will be modified also with big change. For example, new hazard classes will be created with the corresponding criteria to fully address environmental toxicity, persistency, mobility, and bioaccumulation. So new categories will be created for endocrine disruptors, new categories for the health and for the environment, and new hazard classes will be created to well assess the PBT substances, the VPVB substances, but another kind of hazard which had been introduced with the chemical strategy are the persistent, mobile, and toxic substances, the PMT, and the very persistent and very mobile substances. I will have to highlight also a big change coming for us because there is an obligation to label hazard information for products even outside the scope of CLP, which is considered. So for cosmetic products, environmental labeling is considered. So this is very important for us, a big impact. And we have a project to apply mixture rules to classify MOX, substances with more than one component. I will give more on that later. And we have an ambition to improve communication of essential information on chemicals. So we already had a consultation for the simplification and streamlining of labeling requirements considered for detergent products, fertilizer products, but we can expect that for cosmetics in the coming years, we would have also the consideration of digital labeling. There are other actions also expected with the chemical strategy. This is, of course, the harmonization of the definition of nanomaterials in order to be harmonized across Europe and for all sectors. So we will have the modification of the cosmetic regulation with regard to nanomaterials. So this is also a big step for us. And we have also we will see the ambition of the chemical strategy to strengthen the governance of the European Chemicals Agency, the ECHA, by streamlining scientific and technical work on chemicals and to use resources more efficiently. So all the different expert group assessing substances today in each sector will be merged under ECHA. So for cosmetic regulation, this has an impact also because the SSCS, the Scientific Committee for Consumer Safety, who assesses the safety of cosmetic substances now, will be under the scope of ECHA. We can expect maybe a change in the risk management because maybe more focus on hazard rather than risk. We will see. We will follow the orientation of the chemical strategy. And big information also is the chemical strategy has the ambition to take into account the cocktail effect of substances, taking into consideration all the uses of the substances in all sectors. So substances considered safe may no longer be so because of this consideration of aggregate exposure and combination effects. We have see all the big impacts coming. So what about the timeline? As I said, the timelines are very short. So changes on REACH regulation are already ongoing. The roadmap has been published. Draft regulation has been published also to amend annexes 6 to 10 of REACH. So this is the annexes giving the requirements for substances for the registration dossier. Other action will follow. So by next year, REACH regulation will be amended several times. And as regards change on CLP, the consultations are ongoing also. One has just been closed for the digitalization considered for detergent products, but another one is ongoing, detailing all other action expect under CLP regulation, including labeling for cosmetics. As regards the definition of nanomaterials, an open consultation has been closed on June. We have commented on this consultation. The discussion will continue, and we can expect the publication of an harmonized definition by the end of the year. For cosmetic regulation, this will happen afterward because we will have to talk about all the impact of this harmonized definition, taking into account maybe the specificities for cosmetic substances, because we know today we have solubility, and all of this has to be discussed by next year. So we closely follow and we contribute to each project. So be sure that through SMA United, you will be represented, and we will give you an update of this dossier. About the relocation of European agency to determine the future role of the SSCS, it will be defined and concluded by next year. And about the notion of essential use, which is very relevant and impactful for us, the discussions are ongoing. This is just the beginning. But what about the potential criteria maintained? We will have first, of course, the function of the substances, whether this function is necessary for health and safety and crucial for the operation of society or not. And if the function is necessary, are there viable alternatives to the chemical for the particular uses? So maybe for some categories of product or for some uses, this will not be considered as essential. So of course, we fully embrace the ambition to protect the citizen and the environment, and to minimize the use of endocrine disruptors. When we know the substance is an endocrine disruptor, this should be prohibited. But we also are pushing to not exclude safe use of substances and to make a case-by-case assessment. Another consultation is expected very soon about the cosmetic product regulation. So this will define all the changes to expect for cosmetic regulation with the timeline. So of course, we will closely follow this consultation also. What about natural products? We'll take the advantage of the presentation to make you aware that natural products will be impacted by the chemical strategy. We could think that only chemical substance may be impacted and prohibited, but not only, because essential oils and plant extracts will be impacted. With a project to apply mixture rules to classify MOX, so substance containing more than one constituent, more especially the rules for CMR classification and biodegradability, this will impact essential oils and plant extracts, because essential oils are natural complex substances which fall in the scope of the definition of MOX. So essential oils will be classified, automatically classified as CMR based on the presence, for example, of an impurity. And we know thresholds are very low to classify CMR substances. So we have already commented on this project, and we continue to speak upon keeping the possibility to classify the essential oil based on the test, if it exists, rather than on the composition, because a test is more relevant. We have to take into consideration all the antagonist effect and all the composition of the essential oil. So it is better to use a test. In case the essential oil is classified, we push that only the problematic constituents should carry the hazard, and not, because if not, this will overclassify the essential oil and the product containing it. So this will reduce the use of essential oil in finished product if the finished product is classified as a CMR. And we push also and we explain that the classification of essential oil must be carried out with an adapted methodology, because we have to take into account the complexity of these substances, natural complex substances. Another development that I want to share with you is the latest development happening during the last Caracal working group. The ambition now is to add the skin sensitizer in the most harmful substances list. So by the extension of the general risk management, this could be restricted and prohibited. So skin sensitizers will be prohibited based on its classification. We have already a restriction process ongoing for the skin sensitizers in textile, but we could expect with this last development that maybe cosmetic products could be also concerned. So this will be very impactful for essential oils, for example, lavender oils, because we know a lot of essential oils are classified as skin sensitizers. So we continue lobbying and action to defend the use of essential oils in cosmetics. We are convinced that this is a nonsense to prohibit lavender oil, for example, in cosmetic products. I will thank you for your attention. If you have any question, please send me an email. I will be happy to answer to you to the address s.millet@cosmet.fr. Thank you.